The Rise and Fall of the Russian Empire, a saga of faith, power, and struggle. When we flip through the pages of history, we find countless stories of empires rising in glory and crumbling into dust. From the ancient civilizations to the modern world, each empire has left behind a legacy that helps us understand our present and rethink our future. In this special series, we take you on a journey through the grand sweep of time, exploring the rise, triumphs, struggles, and eventual fall of history's greatest empires. Today, we dive into one of the coldest, bloodiest, and most soul-shaping chapters in human history, the story of Russia. Darkness before the dawn, 1600s. The roots of the Russian Empire trace back to a time of deep chaos. Around 1613, the land of Rus was in shambles. Famine, plague, civil war, and foreign invasions tore the nation apart. This was the time of troubles, a period marked by hopelessness and political vacuum. Foreign forces like Poland and Lithuania backed impostors like the false Dmitry to take the throne, exploiting Russia's weakness. The people longed not just for stability, but for something to believe in. During this turmoil, the Russian Orthodox Church became the spiritual lifeline. With the collapse of the state, churches offered more than prayer, they offered unity. Out of this void, in 1613, a 16-year-old boy named Michael Romanov was chosen by nobles and clergy to be Tsar. This wasn't just a new dynasty, it marked the church's consolidation of power and the start of the Romanov Empire. A mission to expand. 1600s. With the fall of Constantinople in 1453, Moscow claimed to be the Third Rome, the last true center of Orthodox Christianity. This belief became the moral backbone of Russia's expansion. Under Peter the Great, the church was brought under state control in 1721, reinforcing the idea that the Russian state had a divine mission to protect Orthodox Christians and expand Holy Russia. By the 18th century, the empire was growing fast, about 18,000 square miles a year. Russia became the largest continuous land empire on Earth. But this expansion wasn't just about land or ports. It was about identity, defending the Orthodox faith, and shaping a Russian world. Wars on all fronts. To the west, Russia clashed with Sweden, taking control of the Baltic and parts of Finland. In the south, century-long wars with the Ottoman Empire brought Crimea and the Caucasus under Russian rule, but expansion wasn't always peaceful. In Central Asia, Russia allowed Muslim elites to stay in power, as long as they followed Russian foreign policy. Catherine the Great even supported spreading Islam in Kazakhstan to settle nomadic tribes. Yet in the Caucasus, the story was brutal. Between 1863 to 1878, up to 97% of the Circassian people, mostly Muslim, were killed or forced into exile in what is now remembered as one of history's early genocides. Russian generals justified this with racist ideology, showing the darker side of empire building. Test of fire, Napoleon's invasion. In 1812, Napoleon's massive army marched into Russia, hoping for a swift victory. Instead, Tsar Alexander I and General Kutuzov used a clever strategy: retreat, stretch the enemy, and destroy supply lines. At Borodino, a bloody battle ended in tactical French victory, but with massive losses. When Napoleon entered Moscow, the city was set on fire. Starving and freezing, his army collapsed. Of 600,000 soldiers, only about 112,000 made it out alive. This was Russia's moment of triumph and a turning point in European politics. Victory and division. Russia emerged a superpower, but internally, cracks appeared. The war had sparked a new sense of nationalism, one rooted in faith and sacrifice, but it also birthed a divide. Conservatives saw the victory as proof of tradition. Young liberal officers, influenced by the French Revolution, believed Russia was ready for reform. They wanted to end serfdom and grant rights to citizens. Their failed uprising in 1825, the Decembrist revolt, planted the seeds of future reform movements. The Crimean blow, 1853 to 1856. Russia's next big war was a humiliation. The Crimean War began over disputes about Christian sites in Jerusalem and Russia's claim to protect Orthodox Christians under Ottoman rule. France and Britain backed the Ottomans, and Russia was forced into a losing fight. The siege of Sevastopol was brutal. By the end, Russia had to give up land and accept humiliating peace terms. More importantly, it exposed how backward the empire had become, especially in military, infrastructure, and economy. In response, Tsar Alexander II abolished serfdom in 1861, freeing millions of peasants. It was one of Russia's most radical reforms, but the empire's deeper problems remained. A war too much. World War I. In 1914, Austria-Hungary threatened Serbia. Tsar Nicholas II, bound by Slavic loyalty, stepped in. But Russia wasn't ready. Its military was outdated. Losses piled up. In just 1 year, over 1 million Russian soldiers were dead or wounded. At home, the economy collapsed. Cities ran out of food and fuel. Inflation soared. Workers went on strike. Confidence in the Tsar evaporated, especially with his German-born wife and the mysterious Rasputin influencing royal decisions. In 1917, the February Revolution erupted. Nicholas II abdicated. The Romanov dynasty was over. A temporary government took power but couldn't hold it. Later that year, the Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, seized control. End of an empire. Birth of a revolution. From 1613 to 1917, the Russian Empire had grown under the cross of the Orthodox Church, fought wars of survival, faced genocide and rebellion, and carried dreams of glory and faith. But in the end, it was not a foreign enemy that brought it down. It was hunger, injustice, and a broken system that the people could no longer bear. The story of the Russian Empire is not just about power. It's about the struggle to survive, to believe, and to change. Its rise and fall still echo through the modern world. And in its fall, a new chapter of Russia began, one that continues to shape history today.